Hey everyone, let's talk about the new cards that will come out with Naxx this week. There will be 6 new neutral cards and 2 new class cards. The first card is the Undertaker, a 1/2 minion for 1 mana that gains an extra 1/1 every time you summon a minion with Death Rattle. It's the first of 2 1-cost minions released this week that can compare with the Warlock's Flame Imp in strength. I see this card fitting into most aggro decks as well as Sue. It could fit into some control decks that run Loot Hoarders and Nerubian X. Overall, I like this card quite a bit. There were not a lot of 1-cost neutral minions before. We always saw the same ones, like the Argent Squire and the Lebanome, but now we will have a new one to join the mix. The second card is the Mad Scientist. A 2/2 minion for 2 mana with a Death Rattle that puts a random secret from your deck onto the battlefield. The card that secret-based mages have been looking for. I'm not sure if this card will finally make secret-based mages viable, but it will surely help. A deck based around Kirantor mages, Mad Scientist, Ethereal Arcanist, Vaporize, Duplicate, Counterspell, Spellbinder, and Mirror Entity might work. It'll surely be annoying to play against. Time will tell if it'll actually be effective. I don't think the card works as well for the other secret-based classes, since their secrets are more situational and cheaper, but we might see it in a few hunter decks as well. The third card is Zombie Joe, a 2/3 minion for 1 mana with a Death Rattle that restores 5 health to the opponent. The second 1-cost minion this week that can rival the Flame Imp's power. Ironically, the card that might seem good at helping against Sue Warlocks just might be used by Sue as well to augment their early power further. Sue generally doesn't care how much life you have, they're just trying to take over the board until they can overwhelm you with sheer numbers. I don't think I will use the card much myself, since it doesn't really fit well in most tempo or aggro decks. When I play Tempo Warrior, I certainly don't want to give them an extra 5 life. The card would be good in any deck if you could guarantee that you had it on turn 1, but when you're trying to finish them off with a Tempo deck before you run out of steam, it does not make for a very good turn 6 play. The fourth card is Wailing Soul, a 3/5 minion for 4 mana with a battle cry that silences all your own minions. I love cards like this because it just makes you think, how can you use this battlecry to your advantage? Well, let's see, there's the Ancient Watcher, the Death Lord, Dancing Swords, Anuba Ambusher, and the Venture Co Mercenary. Also the legendary card, the Beast. They're all powerful cards, but with downsides. A deck based around some of those cards, as well as Wailing Soul, could be interesting. Say you play a turn 2 Ancient Watcher, and on turn 3 you coin out a Wailing Soul. Or you could play a turn 3 Death Lord, and then play a turn 4 Wailing Soul, to hopefully silence the Death Lord before they manage to kill it. The card will also be good against freeze mages, and in case you don't want to follow a Paladin's rules. If your deck doesn't have specific synergy with Wailing Soul, it'll be pretty weak. The gimmicky nature of the card might hold it back from seeing a lot of use, but we will see. The 5th and 6th cards are Fugen and Stalag. They are a 4/7 and a 7/4 minion that each cost 5 mana. They both have Death Rattles that activate if the other of the 2 has died in the game. If that is the case, they will summon Thaddeus, an 11/11 minion. Not entirely sure about these guys. It seems like Fugen will be quite powerful by itself as a 4/7 minion, standing up well against the 4/6 Spectral Knight that also costs 5 mana, but the 7/4 is not nearly as useful since it dies to so many things like Eviscerate, Swipe, and cheap minions. Of course, the dream is to get the 11/11 out, but that requires both of the cards. It could also backfire completely. Say you get the 7/4 early on in the game and play it on turn 5, and then it dies. Shortly after, the other player plays the 4/7, since it might be used in decks that don't normally go for the 11/11. But now since your 7/4 has already died, you will get it anyway when it dies. Because of those potential situations, I think the cards will work best in decks that already run silences, like druids and shamans, since they can silence the enemy's minion in case it would give them the 11/11. The priest card is Dark Cultist, a 3/4 minion for 3 mana that has a death rattle that gives a random friendly minion 3 health. The first 3/4 minion for 3 mana in the game, an excellent card that would probably see use even without the death rattle. The card will help further revitalizing the priest in high-level ranked play. The priest has already become more popular this week, and I predict that trend will continue with the addition of this card. It trades extremely well with 2-drops, and it also happens to work well with the Undertaker, that is also introduced this week. Turn 1 Undertaker into turn 2 Coin Dark Cultist would be quite a power play. I think this card will make minion-based priest more popular, instead of the more spell-focused priest we are seeing at the moment. The warrior card is Death Spite, a 4/2 weapon for 4 mana, with a death rattle that deals 1 damage to all minions. A very nice addition to the warrior's arsenal. The only problem with it is that warriors already have a lot of good weapons, so it'll be hard to fit in. I do think most warriors will include at least one of these though, since it's just so potentially useful. Kill something on turn 4, then play an acolyte on turn 5 and kill something else to get your card right back. I see a lot of potential. It'll be fun to play around with. Overall, this week introduces more new cards than any of the other weeks so far. And all of the new cards seem powerful, or at least interesting. No Stoneskin Gargoyles this week. It'll be another interesting week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.